In my opinion, the combination of Kristaps Porzingis and Carmelo Anthony is one that could lead the Knicks to a championship over the next few seasons if they surround the two of them with enough ample talent. When we look at where Porzingis is right now in only his second season at 21 years old, at 20 points a game, 8 rebounds, 45% from the field, as well as the huge shooting improvement that he has made this year as he is now shooting 40% from 3. Porzingis seems like he can grow into one of the best players in the NBA. Funny enough, they are using him a lot off-ball this season, to where he'll be scoring in the open floor, or he'll score off of a cut, or they'll run some sort of off-ball action that has him running off of screens. He'll set a screen for Derrick Rose, which leads into a pick and pop or a pick and roll, or the defense will switch and then he has a mismatch that he can just rise right over because he's as tall as a frickin' skyscraper. But occasionally they're getting him the ball in the low post where he's able to rise up over guys who are small forwards, power forwards, occasionally even a center, because he has a quick release and he's, again, really damn tall. He's also shown some ball handling ability. There was a time against the Phoenix Suns where he more than once would either just straight line drive to beat Dragan Bender to the rim, or he actually had some decent size-up moves against Marquise Chris, which led into a crossover, and he nailed like a 15-footer over him. So he seems to have a lot of good one-on-one abilities, combined with a real savviness for scoring off ball, combined with his shooting ability and how tall he is, and hopefully some more improvements on the low post game. He's definitely a 25-plus point scorer in the NBA for a long time. Offensively, he's already pretty damn close. He does have to make some improvements defensively, but when we look at his size and willingness to mix it up down low against opposing big men, as well as his lateral quickness and athleticism, I think he can become pretty decent on that side of the floor. And then Carmelo Anthony, he's definitely not the guy he was a few years ago, where a lot of people were calling him the best scorer in the NBA because he could score in any which way possible. But 23 points on 43% shooting and 35% from the field is still pretty damn good. His ability to score on the low block, still gets to the free throw line about 2 to 3 times a game. Very good mid-range shooter. Melo's still pretty damn good. And in my opinion, as Porzingis is getting better, the closer he gets to his prime, combined with Carmelo Anthony having the type of game that I think can age pretty gracefully, you could see the Knicks with about a 2 or 3 year window where Porzingis is one of the potentially 10 best guys in the league, and Melo still has the ability to be around a 20-point scorer, differing to Porzingis a little bit more, and could be a big shot maker for the Knicks. I mean, he's 32 right now, but like I said, because of the way his game is, perhaps a little bit more improvement on his three-pointers, I could see him being 34, 35 years old, still putting up 16, 17 points per game, reserving himself for the playoffs. But of course, you're not going to win with two guys. How are the Knicks going to surround these two with enough ample talent to really get to that point? Well, I like the Courtney Lee acquisition. Lee is a low-usage shooting guard who is pretty damn good on defense. He knows what to do. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. He's pretty much the one defensive player they have on this team right now, which I'll dive into a little bit more. And he's also a good three-point shooter, and he's a smart offensive player overall. Courtney Lee currently 45% from the field, 48% from three, the perfect shooting guard for this team. But then we get to the point guard and the center. Let's start with Derrick Rose. He hasn't been bad this season. He still has a pretty decent ability of scoring within the three-point line. If you see him this year when he's in a pick and roll, which is a lot of the Knicks offense, is either Derrick Rose pick and rolls with Joakim Noah, which is a little odd, but it seems to get Melo and Porzingis open three-pointers, so I guess it works out. Or he'll do it with Porzingis, and sometimes the defense will switch, and he can get it to Porzingis on a mismatch, or Derrick Rose can attack his guy one-on-one. Things like that are allowing D. Rose to score well inside the paint as well as around the basket. He still has his acrobatic finishes around the rim, as he's shooting 54% at the basket, which is under the league average, but we have to remember that that stat is kind of skewed because there's big men like DeAndre Jordan who will shoot like 65% from the field by only shooting around the rim. But so Derrick is still scoring in the paint pretty well, and he's able to get in there a lot. He's also at 43% from mid-range, which is a little bit above the league average. Some of that is due to his improved pull-up jumper. If you lay back on him when he's in the pick and roll, he could actually pull up and he'll make it. And he's always had that floater game, the right-handed falling away hook shots that he does. Those are still going in, so I think Derrick Rose, when it comes to getting within the three-point line and scoring, he's still pretty good. That being said, everything else is not the best with Derrick. He's shooting 25% from three, so if the ball is not in his hands, his value decreases pretty decently. And defensively, Derrick he leaves quite a bit to be desired on that side of the floor. And then when we look at the center position, you have Joakim Noah. Noah at one time was potentially the best defensive player in the NBA with his ability to move around the floor, provide help defense, pick and roll defense, and occasionally switch on to other positions at the center spot with Chicago. Injuries have just killed him, and Noah just is not as effective on defense. Offensively, he's fallen off a cliff. He was never a natural offensive player. He's putting up 5 points a game. He is still putting up about 2.5 assists, and the Knicks still do use his passing ability, whether it be in pick and rolls with Derrick Rose, or sometimes they'll get it to Noah in the high post, and then they'll get action moving around that. So he's still a nice passer, and he's still a good rebounder, so I think Noah has value, just not as a starting center anymore. So I do think those two are the weakness of this Knicks team so far. They're not a bad team, and they'll probably make the playoffs in the East because just being a respectable around 41-win team, you're probably going to get in there. But when we're talking about championship contention, which I think Porzingis and Melo are good enough to provide you, you might be better off with a defensive point guard who can be a bit better from outside than Derrick Rose, and someone who can be really good defensively as opposed to Joakim Noah. Now for the center position, Kyle O'Quinn is interesting. I think O'Quinn could have the potential to give you more consistent quality defensive minutes. He's also a damn good mid-range shooter, which I wouldn't go to consistently, but it's a nice little nuance to have if nothing else is working in your offense. Then there's also Willy Hernan-Gomez, who seems pretty damn crafty as an offensive player around the rim. He sets a good screen. He knows how to roll to the rim, be at the right angle for the point guard. But he's also shown a nice ability with pump fakes and spin moves and hook shots around the rim. Hernan-Gomez seems like an interesting piece for the Knicks. I don't know what he's going to end up becoming, but as of right now, he seems exciting at the center position. So I think you might have to roll with a center by committee for the rest of the year for the Knicks between Noah, O'Quinn, and Hernan-Gomez. But of course, this video is about how they can win a championship with Melo and Porzingis over the next few seasons, or how they have the opportunity to. And like I've already mentioned, Melo can be a nice number 2 option, but if you're looking for other guys, we can just start with the point guard position, as I kind of voice cracked there. D. Rose, I just don't think he can be the championship point guard of this team. I think, like I mentioned, still nice at scoring within the 3-point line, but if the ball's not in his hands, he's not the best. He's not the best on defense. So what would be some other options at that point guard spot? Well, the Knicks going to be at $77 million at the salary cap at the end of this season. And the only guy on the team that I would want to re-sign, like definitely, would be Justin Holiday for the shooting and defense he's giving you off the bench. You might be able to talk me into Brandon Jennings, and I mean, currently Derrick Rose is making $21 million. He's just not that good of a player anymore. Even with the salary cap rising, I think Derrick Rose is a $10 to $13 million player right now. And if there were no other options at the starting point guard spot, maybe I would re-sign him for 2 years or something on that deal. But ideally, if we look at the upcoming point guards in free agency, I think the one that they could really look at would be George Hill of the Utah Jazz. Now, Utah's probably going to want to scoop him back up because they've been looking for a point guard for so damn long, and he's doing great for them. But given the defense and the outside shooting and the just smarts he has overall when it comes to basketball, I think signing him for $15+ million, I would definitely do that, given what he's doing in Utah right now. And I think he would be a really good point guard with Carmelo Anthony and Kristaps Porzingis. Another interesting one would be Drew Holiday, who, ever since his hot start, has been kind of shaky. He hasn't been making his shots for the Pelicans. But when he's been at his best, he's also been a shooter as well as a defensive player. So I think those are two guys who could really play off of Porzingis and Melo pretty well. Now, of course, there is Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and Kyle Lowry who are available in free agency. If one of them wants to come, then of course you sign them, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. And then if we look at the center position, could the Knicks not get in the Nerlens Noel sweepstakes? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with him. He's probably going to get traded, and then whoever trades for him is going to be willing to give him as much money as possible in restricted free agency. But I mean, do you not try to get Nerlens? Do you not try to overpay him a little bit? Because wouldn't he be the perfect center next to Porzingis? You'd have a super athletic front court. And, I mean, we know how good Nerlens is on defense, and this Knicks team is 24th in the league on defense right now, so that would help him out tremendously. Now, on the flip side of things, maybe you believe that Porzingis can become a center himself. He's not really there physically right now, but perhaps he can get to that point, and then you could look for a power forward, but I really like the idea of a Porzingis and Noel front court, but at the same time, restricted free agency is tricky. I don't know if you want to go down that boat with him. Andrew Bogut is also available. He wouldn't be a long-term option, but he could be a short-term one, a good defender and rebounder to help you out. Besides that, I'm not seeing any real long-term options at the center position for the Knicks in terms of this upcoming free agency. Now, if you really wanted to go with the zinger at center, the power forward pool is actually decently deep. There is Blake Griffin. I have to imagine he stays on the Clippers, just given that they're one of the best teams in the NBA, but you never know with this stuff, and I think Blake next to Porzingis could be pretty damn interesting. You'd probably slide Porzingis over to the 5, and Griffin would be the 4. Now, Blake has been hurt with injuries, and his athleticism is not what it once was. Still pretty damn good, but he's not jumping out of the gym dunking on everybody anymore. There's also Paul Millsap, there's Serge Ibaka, two good two-way power forwards who could really help out. But again, is Porzingis ready to play the center spot right now? I don't know. I think we're still a few years away from that one. But the reason I'm even addressing the idea of free agency is, like, the Knicks are pretty good this year, man. They're 5th in the East right now. They're above 500. I mean, if they can get into the playoffs, and because they're the Knicks, I have to imagine a decent Knicks team is a free agent destination, as well as holes at the center spot, the point guard spot. I think they can make some noise there. Should be said that Gordon Hayward's probably going to be a free agent as well, because I have to assume he declined his player option. He'd probably be the shooting guard of this team, and I mean, that would be a hell of a pickup for you. So these are just names, and again, I think the Knicks can be an actual place for free agents because they're actually respectable, they have cap space. It's just stuff, you know? Now, we can also say the Knicks in the past have made trades with their first-round picks that are probably not the best idea. Given that you have Porzingis and Melo now, if the right trade comes up, I really wouldn't fault them for trading a first-round pick in the future. They have all of their picks, so it's an idea. I wouldn't go crazy, and I wouldn't be actively looking to move it. But if something comes up for a player that you think can be a real difference maker, yeah, you probably pull the trigger. So I think that's going to do it, but I do think the big two of Porzingis as well as Carmelo Anthony and a hell of a role player in Courtney Lee, there's something good there. I think Derrick Rose, defensively, I just don't see him ever being good enough again to really be a championship point guard, and Joakim Noah has fallen off a cliff, so there are some options out there in free agency. They don't have too many actual trade pieces. There's Hernan Gomez, but I don't know how much he really gets you, but you do have all your picks coming up, so I think the Knicks have an opportunity to perhaps make a move, make a big free agent signing because they're respectable. And perhaps with the ascendance of Porzingis and Melo being able to maintain himself as he gets older, you have a weird opportunity to become a championship contender, even if you're just an okay team at the moment.